Hello guys, you're welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. If you're seeing my face for the first time or if you are coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Diana. I migrated as an international nurse and I'm currently working in the UK as a registered nurse. On my channel, I share content on how you can successfully migrate to study, work and live abroad. And anytime there's any updates on immigration rules, I do come and share it with you so that you don't miss vital information. If you have plans of moving abroad, please stick around to this channel as we share vital information. Since the UK elected a new prime minister, there's been a lot of changes in the immigration rules. As they say, new king, new law. So I always advise my friends, if there's something you need to do, do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait at all. Just do it now. If you want to migrate into a certain country, if you want to study, whatever it is that you plan to do, do it now. So in this video, I'm going to share with you into details the post-study work visa. I'll talk a bit about the positive side and also talk about the disadvantages of the post-study work visa that most people do not really know about. So if you wish to study in the UK, you need to apply for the student visa. And once you finish your program of study, you are allowed to apply for the post-study work visa, which allows you to stay for at least 2 years after you've completed your program. This post-study work visa was cancelled when Theresa May was the Prime Minister. It was reintroduced by Boris Johnson, and now we've got a new Prime Minister. We don't know what the plans are going to be. So the post-study work visa, like I mentioned before, allows you to stay after you've completed your program of study in the UK as an international student. If you do a postgraduate study, you are allowed to stay at least 2 years after you've completed your course, and if you study a PhD, you're allowed to stay at least 3 years after you've completed your course. So when I studied my master's, the post-study work visa had been cancelled, so we all had to pack our bags and go right after the course. Now it's in place. It's really been helpful, and the positive side of this post-study work visa is once you've completed your program of study, you are not really in a rush to go back to your country. At least it gives you time to study the system to see if there are ways you can actually apply for a job related to the course you are doing, and also possibly get a tier 2 visa, which will allow you to stay and work on the skilled worker visa and potentially get your permanent residency after you've lived here for 5 years. And another good thing is if you have plans of studying PhD, at least being on the post-study work visa allows you time to actually start looking into topics or research topics that you could look into. So it kind of allows you that leisure of time to look around and see what your options are regarding staying in the UK. However, there is this downside to the post-study work visa that most people are not aware. So they think the post-study work visa is a type of a skilled worker visa that allows you to work and stay permanently in order to get your permanent residency and all of that. So we're going to go into detail about the other side of the post-study work visa you need to be aware of, so that if you have plans of coming to study in the UK, at least you'll be aware of it, and then at least once you get here, you know how to organize yourself and put things together whilst you're studying. So applying for the post-study work visa after you've completed your course, it does not count to you getting a permanent residency. So there are so many ways of getting permanent residency in the UK. If you come to the UK on a tier 2 work visa, you will get your permanent residence after you've lived and worked here for 5 years. And if you come through the student route and stay on the student visa for up to 10 years, you also get the permanent residency. So this particular post-study work visa, it doesn't count to the number of years that you need to stay in order to get permanent residency. For instance, if you stay on the post-study work visa for 2 years and you manage to secure a skilled worker visa, which is the tier 2 worker visa, and work for at least 3 years, the 2 years post-study work visa will not add up to the 3 years to make it 5 years to get the indefinite. So that means after you've stayed here in the UK on the post-study work visa for 2 years, if you get a tier 2 working visa, the 5 years is going to start counting from that time. So the 2 years that you were on the post-study work visa does not count to the settlement, or does not count to you getting your permanent residency. Another thing is you cannot also bring your spouse or your dependents if you're on the post-study work visa. Most people do come into the UK with their dependents whilst they are coming in. Some also do come here first and then apply for their dependents to join them later. If you apply for the spousal visa or the dependent visa whilst you are still on the tier 4 student visa, it is okay. If you wait until your tier 4 visa is passed and you get yourself onto the post-work visa, you have to bear in mind that you will not be able to bring your dependents on the post-study work visa because it doesn't allow. So that means if you do not bring them initially whilst you are still on the tier 4 visa, that they will miss the chance. Another thing is the post-study work visa application It's not cheap. It's a bit expensive. Honestly, it is expensive. You have to pay for the visa fee, which is around £400, and IHS, which is the immigration health surcharge for that 2 years. So if you're applying for the 2 years post-study work visa, that is also like around £700 times two, in addition to the post-study work visa fee itself. So you are talking about almost £2,000. If you're applying as an individual, then that's just the cost. But if you came with your family, obviously your dependents are here because of you, so that means it's additional cost in addition to the amount you are spending on your post-study work visa alone. Most students might have saved enough to go through this post-study work visa application process, but honestly, as a student, you're only allowed to work 20 hours per week. And if your course is really, really intense, you may not even have the time to be working enough to save for this. So please bear this in mind as well. So we've talked about the positive, we've looked at the other side. What then is the plan? In order for all of these downside not to happen to you, what then is the plan? What do we do? So number one, if you've managed to save enough money, instead of using it to go through the whole application process of the post-study work visa, put in all the effort and look for tier 2 skilled worker visa jobs whilst you are still in the process of almost completing your program of study. Do not wait until you finally exhausted all your tier 4 work visa. Start applying the moment you realize that it's nearly time for you to finish your course. Start applying for tier 2 skilled worker visa jobs. If you check the shortage occupation list, you'll find a list of all the professions that qualifies you to get a tier 2 work visa. So if your course is related to any of the professions on the shortage occupation list, then you should start as soon as you are nearly completing your course, so that at least you can secure a job, get a tier 2 work visa, so that you don't even go into the post-study work visa at all. So regarding the issue of you not being able to bring your spouse whilst you're on the post-study work visa, what you need to do now is do not wait until you finish the course and get on the post-study work visa before you think of bringing in your family or your dependents. If you've got enough money to bring them along whilst you are coming, that will be the best, so that at least they all come along with you. If you can't afford to bring your dependents with you as at the time you are coming, what you could do is once you get here, you can do some part-time jobs, save enough, and then you can apply for your dependents to join you whilst you are still on the tier 4 student visa. Do not wait until the tier 4 visa has expired. Otherwise, if you shift to the post-study work visa, it will be difficult. So all in all, I will say that maximize the potentials whilst you are still on the tier 4 visa, and then look for jobs as soon as you're about to finish your course and get a tier 2 work visa, so that you can switch from the tier 4 to tier 2. I hope this has been very, very informative. So if you're planning on migrating to the UK as an international student, please take all of this into consideration. Please share it with people you know who are also thinking of migrating to the UK as international students. And if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel, as you will definitely find all the contents on this channel very, very useful. So I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.